Hello everyone, Helcorex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 401. And today we're going to be talking about the Mercury. I've done the Mercury before, but that video is gone from my channel. I don't know whatever happened to it. I looked for it, and it's like, I don't have the Mercury anymore. Individuals say, hey, I thought you did that. And it's like, yes, I did. But, you know, it's the nature of the beast sometimes, YouTube. Thank you very much. All right, so the Mercury. 20 tons. It came out in the Star League 2750. It's kind of an interesting mech. It has pretty much an 812 moving mech. It came with mask, so you could pump that thing up to 16. It's good eyes and ears, little mech. Comes with 3 tons of ferrofibrous armor for 54 points. Basically, you could probably, I think, add another ton to this thing and get by with it. It also comes with a few weapon systems. We have a medium laser in the right arm. We have a medium laser in the left torso. We have a small laser in the center torso and head. And then you have one spot mask parked in the center torso also. So, yeah, it's not a bad little mech. Had lots of uses over the years in our games. Kind of an enjoyable little guy that finds, you know, it's like I said, it's an eyes and ears Star League style mech. Is it kind of outdated in some ways? Maybe, but you know, when you look at the battle value of 466, it does find its way into a lot of games, especially if you're playing in the Clan War era, where something like this might show itself up. So, not bad. Not bad at all. The, let's see, that was the, we're talking about the 99, I think it is. Oh, it's 586. Sorry, wrong battle value. That extra medium laser adds a little bit of extra to it. Now, the interesting thing is that when you're able to kick this thing up, typically any light mech, you're always usually going to be running. So you add in all the heat that you put. That's 10. It has 10 single heat sinks. So it doesn't need the double heat sinks. The only time that might be an issue if you take an engine hit, which is very hard because when you've got, you know, 6 points of armor and a torso, you get hit with an AC-10 or a standard PPC, you're already into the juicy parts, and you got 5 points of internal structure plus the 6. It's like you're down to 1. If you get hit in the right or left torso, you're down to 1 point left, and then you're almost like lost half your mech in just one shot. Now, you get hit with an AC-20, that's most 20-ton light mechs are going to get obliterated if they take a AC-20 hit. You know, there's been many times I've seen like a Locust or a Stinger or a Wasp or something take an AC-20 in the arm, and then it just cascades all the way down into the center torso, and it's like, well, that mech is toast. You know, it just blew everything away. But a couple medium laser hits to any torso area, and it's almost gone. You know, that's the only problem is. So you got to use your speed to your best advantage. Use your cover, use your concealment. Find yourself places where you can run into and add an extra pip or two of your defense to keep this thing alive, because the moment any light mech like this gets hit, your life expectancy starts to drastically decrease. So find places, look at the map, where can I go to, and find a place to park yourself for a second as you run there. You may have, it's one of those things, you got mask with this, you can do every other turn boost capability. It's like, definitely with mask, you don't want, it's almost 100% guarantee the second turn in a row, if I'm using mask, I'm always going to fail. And the next thing you know, you're causing problems for yourself when it comes to the crit hits, and then you're drastically slowed down. Any light mech that drastically slows down, guess what? You're dead. You know, it's like even a mediocre gunner can start throwing enough stuff at the wall, something will stick. if you slow your mech down. So don't give them any advantage. So it's always every other turn when it comes to mask. Now, if later in the mid and late game, when a lot of the big guys are all ripped up, you know, you can start doing the drive-bys or find yourself that fire support mech that's parked to the back. Get inside it with a quick burst of speed. Let's say it's an LRM boat like an Archer, or let's say a longbow or something of that nature, where it doesn't necessarily have a lot of close in fighting capability. It spends all of its tonnage on LRMs. Dive into its inside its minimum range without being close enough to be kicked or punched. Then unload your little pod of weaponry, which, you know, you got 2 medium lasers and a small laser. Not a lot of damage. That's 16. It's if you hit with everything, it's not a lot at all. It's like, well, you're more of a nuisance, but you're adding on to the hit parade that maybe that's going to draw attention from your heavy hitters then. So they may turn around and go, oh, I got to take care of this guy. And you know, anything that deflects damage from your other guys and a potential of sending it your direction and having them miss, that's always a good thing. All right. So that's the Mercury 99. That's the, I believe, the Star League version of the mech. Yeah, that's the Star League mech. Now, they have other versions of this mech. I think there's 5. Yeah, there's 5. All right, they got the Mercury 97. This came out in 3049 by Comstar. Let's see here, the 497. Okay, we're talking about the 97. Yes, 97. That's the one that come out by Comstar. All right, this one has a small laser, a medium laser, and a beagle probe. So basically, they took one of the medium lasers and one of the small lasers, threw a beagle probe on it, turned it into a scouting mech. This is the 466 battle value version. So this one is geared towards locating the enemy so your follow-on forces can turn around and just hammer away. In some ways, with the prevalence of artillery, maybe, I'm not sure if the Beagle Probe may be the better choice. Maybe swap that thing out for tag system, and maybe have 2 medium lasers or something of that nature, or maybe a flamer, so you have something to take care of infantry. But having a version of this mech that was able to help out your follow-on artillery to pound different systems downrange. Now, that's one thing I did talk about. The Mercury is a predecessor to the Omni-Mech design. So theoretically, it's supposed to be fairly easy to plug and play systems into the Mercury versus other older designs, which don't. They're, you know, hardwired for, or hard locked into a certain design from the manufacturer. So you got that going, but maybe it's a little easier to swap things out and make it easier for yourself. But with this version, you don't have a lot of firepower. Your job is mostly to do observation. So you're usually trying to do straight lines as much as possible or get into some terrain. You got 12 movement. Every other turn, use the mass to, if you have to. Not if you don't have to, because if you already moved 10 and it's gonna have a risk of causing damage to yourself using the mask, I probably wouldn't, because you're not going to gain anything other than maybe getting into, let's say, heavy woods, which gains you a couple extra pips or behind some cover or something. Maybe that might be worth it, but a lot of times you have to weigh your options there. It's like, are you going to be facing down, causing you more self problems or not? So go look at that. Then let's see here. We have the, oh boy, here we go. The 98, this variant downgraded the version introduced during the Succession Wars. Okay, so factories are pretty much done. You don't have the a lot of the systems that came with it. And let's see, we got the 98 here somewhere. No, that goes straight to 99, 102, 104. They don't have the 98. I don't have a sheet for it. Interesting. Huh. That is weird. Alright, so the 98 retains the armament and engine of the original. In its armor, they're using standard armor in place of ferrofibers because they couldn't manufacture it. And the mass system has been removed because they can no longer manufacture it, which basically frees up 1 ton. If you don't have the mask, you got 1 ton, so that you're putting that to counter the lack of ferrofibrous armor, which just makes sense. You want to keep as much armor as possible on a light mech. Even speed doesn't do you much good. The speed dropped by 1 pip, so saying it's a 711, and it comes in at 553 battle value, which is interesting. They don't have a sheet anywhere. Maybe there's one hidden someplace. I had a different book, so I have to take a look. And so if somebody point me in the right direction, I don't know if I can see one here listed. Yeah, maybe it's in the 3025 revised, possibly. May have to take a look and see if we got that. Give me a second here. Sorry. 30, 39. Let's look here, see if it's in the 3025 revised 3039 book. Well, not listing anything. Why doesn't it list the mechs? The mongoose, wasp, stinger, locust, thorn, hornet, flea, falcon. No, it's not in that book. I don't know why they listed. Okay, anyway, let's just drive on. Things that make you go, huh. So, alright, so then we have the 102. This is an upgraded Mercury. Came out in 3067. Word of Blake. All hail Word of Blake. This one retains the mask, the armor, but carries 2 modifications, which uses Indosteel and the removal of a small laser and 1 medium laser to allow a second modification, which is the C3 improved computer. Which obviously, if you're using all hail Word of Blake, you know, the C3I is a very good system for extending the range and capability. It comes in at 510, and the 102. Alright, so you have an ER small laser in the head, an ER medium laser in the right arm, and you got the C3I in the left torso. And obviously you got Indosteel and ferrofibers to go with it, and you still have the mask. So you'd still have the capability of moving pretty quickly. Your armor's the same as before. They didn't upgrade that by anything. So basically, this is your eyes and ears for your network. You know, obviously, I've used this one before. Works out pretty good for linking up, especially if you're running with some Celestials that are throwing down some major firepower in the backfield. As this thing's running around, it's like, yeah, you get a little bit, you get a little bit. So it works out fairly decent. And then at 510 battle value, and it's worth having this mech around. And it still has the 10 single heat sinks. So it really doesn't need any extra heat sinks other than the 10 that comes with the engine. Which kind of surprised me in one way, that they didn't go with an XL engine on this thing, knowing that Blake has a tendency to do such things. So put an XL in that, probably would free up like another 1.5 tons, I believe. And you could really armor this thing up a bit just with XLs. Yeah, life expectancy decreased a little bit, but not by much, considering that it doesn't take much to kill a 20-tonner. Just a couple 20 shots, or 210 shots for 20. That will kill a light mech like this pretty quickly. And then we have the 104. This is an upgrade for fielded Warrior Blake. Comes out doing the Jihad. And this one uses XL engines. Let's see, we got the 104. Yes. Still has the ER small laser. Puts on tag. And two ER medium lasers. So with the XL, and the armor is upped by, let's see, we got 4, 7. 1 extra pip of armor. So they actually probably, it looks like they put on another 1/2 ton of armor on this thing. Comes in at 683 battle value. It's a little bit more spendy because you got an extra ER medium laser. You got the C3I. You have tag now. And then you got the ER small. Heat-wise, you're looking at up to 14, but it's still running the 10 single heat sinks. The only problem is they might be able to put 10 doubles on board this thing, but it's not really necessary, I don't think. Most of the time you're going to be running with the 2 ER medium lasers, and roughly if you're running like you're supposed to, you can do that for 2 turns doing the drive-by, and then 1 turn you're going to turn around and drop probably one of the ER medium lasers, and if you're close enough, throw in a small, you're going to drop by 3. Then you can go back to the hammer away with the 2 ERs, maybe the small, and then drop back down again. And you got to balance out your heat, so you're not slowing down, because anytime you slow your mech down, that's going to be bad. Even though 711 is not bad, and if you kick in the mask, you're looking at, let's see, half that's what, 4? Yeah, you haven't really lost much. So you can get by past the 5 if you have to. And then you got to really think about a turn of looking for a place to go hide and cool off. But if you can get that tag locked on, especially if you got any weapon systems in the backfield that are carrying, that make good use of that tag, yeah, you definitely want to make sure this mech is doing its job. So that's it. I think there's one more. The 105, the Republic of the Sphere. Okay. Variant brings the ancient design back in. Let's see, traditional mass has been removed, and it has an XL engine to keep the speed up. Let's see, it's 180 speed. Where's the speed at? Oh yeah, it greatly. To add 1 more pip of speed on this thing. So, let's see. It uses Indosteel ferrofibrous armor, has XL engines, has 2 ER medium lasers in the right and left torso, 2 ER small lasers, 1 in center torso on the head, 10 double heat sinks. So this one, so obviously they must be able to pump in some double heat sinks. So it's got 795 battle value. So a little more spendy, but it might be one of those mechs that similar to the original design, but carrying a little more bite to it. Might be interesting. I'm surprised they don't have a sheet for it, even though it's listed. And then again, it could be in one of the other record sheets. Let's see, Republic of the Sphere is way down the line. That's going to be they listed. No, I don't see where they listed anywhere. Everything they say is 3050 or the 3039. Oh, well, anyway. too much information overload. So basically, that is it. That's the when it comes to the Mercury. I've played a lot of games, especially in the early years when the Mercury was a tendency to be the go-to scout mech in our formations. Just the fact that it was one of those mechs that could go 8-12 other than a Locust. You know, that had enough speed to get out there and find itself in a lot of games. So it's useful. Not great, not bad, but useful. All right, so that's it. That's the Mercury. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Outcracks out.